right?
Sure, yeah, you just pulling those down.
Sure, yeah.
This one, Mike.
So you can see that.
Yeah, new things.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Will you send me a text?
Yeah,
Mary, this is you right here.
The last council meeting, because I have John make a sign that says reserved for public.
No.
I was checking that.
and then there was
I had my children ready. What is happening? I was so upset.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
How are you, Whitney?
Hey, that's
All right, turn it off.
Can I touch that?
I tell you, I pre-ordered at the store. I don't know why. I'll tell you later.
Roll call.
Amy Teal.
Present.
Cheryl Taylor West.
Yes, ma'am.
Vicki Wilson. Here. Valerie Peacock and Jason Dance are absent. We don't know.
Madam Mayor, may I make a statement? We need to open up for public comment. If there's anybody here that needs to speak on the budget workshop, we need to open that up.
As much as I like public comment, it's not actually on the agenda.
It is not, however, it is state law.
It is state law.
That was not sick.
Can I make a quick comment? Am I public or no?
Technically, you're not,
Not
but
yet.
there's no objection.
Objection to anybody?
No.
I know this is gonna be a difficult challenge. I've been keeping up with cities across the state that are facing also difficult challenges as they go through their budget. And I spoke this at the last council meeting, but I want to reiterate it again. I appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you.
I know that you come here with a purpose each day, more than just a paycheck. It's a self-esteem and gratitude.
I don't get paid.
Except for you. Except for our loyal mayor, and may I also say the city council are not paid in full, because there was some confusion prior to the election regarding that. Not sure where that confusion began.
Okay.
So thank you again, and understand that our hearts are with all of you.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll close, we'll close that. Close it. Move into the non-consent agenda, the budget workshop.
All right, well, thank you guys for coming in here. This is our first workshop. We're a little behind on some things. This is typically when this city has scheduled these before. So we try to keep things consistent. Next year, I would suggest that we move these things up a little bit. But that's kind of where we are. Typically, the outline that you should have in front of you, that's kind of the outline in which we have followed in the past. That is not a hard and fast number. That's just something that we put out there so that way it's just to keep things in order. Now, typically we start with the revenues. Now, I want to make it clear that these revenue numbers are just estimates at this point. We need to finalize our budget before we finalize our tax revenue, because we as a city can only tax enough to cover the budget. So we need to know what our expenditures are before we do that. So these numbers in the revenue, we will reassess once we've ironed out all the budget numbers. With that being said, we did figure, and you should have it with your in your packet there, a copy of the tax rate recap. This is also posted online for everybody to view. These revenue numbers, as you will see here, plugged in to the property tax revenue line item, is based on the voter approval rate of 0.6137, which will be down from last year's rate of 6.505. In your budget line items here, you will see that so far this year, we've collected 97% of our estimated revenue on our property tax estimation from last year, which is really good. So what we did here is, in this revenue line item, property tax revenue, is we took that rate, which you will see here, if everything shook out like it was supposed to at the 0.6137 voter approval rate, would have been $1,280,740. We took that and took 95% of that. So that's how we came up with the 1.145. Does that make sense? Any questions based off of any of that? Again, these are just preliminary plug-in numbers. That's why we're here. So we work through these things after we work through our expenditures, but this will give you an idea of where we're at. All right. The penalties and interest are based off of that property tax, right, Christy? That's what they don't get paid on time. You know, they accrue interest and all that stuff. So this year we actually missed that projection by a little bit. We anticipated $20,000. We actually collected more than that. We were at 116%. But since our revenue has gone down in this projected line item from last year, we kept it at 20,000. Does that make sense? It's on this one right here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next line. Franchise tax. Franchise tax. All the Atmos, TNP.
I think of all of them.
There's all those kind of utilities and such. Franchise tax last year, we estimated $60,000 in anticipated revenue. We've actually gone way over that this year and are at 77. So we're at 128%. So we moved that up to 75,000 in the revenue, up from 60,000. Municipal court fines, this number here is actually wrong on your funds here. On this one, we're still having a gap in things transferring over into the new system. That number is actually, instead of it being current revenue of $10,000, it's actually $49,746.17, which is 72%. We should be at 84% right now in this part of the fiscal year. So what we did is we took that number, 49,674.17, divided that by 10, right? So that's 10 months worth of revenue, then multiplied that by 12 for a full year. So that's how we came up with that number of 62,000. Licenses and permits. We have $10,000 anticipated last year. We've collected $6,149 on that, so we went down to $8,000 as an estimated revenue. Again, we kind of figure we know some projects that are going to be coming, so the permits are going to be probably higher than they were this year, but we still weren't comfortable enough going all the way up to 10,000. Library revenue. Last year we anticipated 3,000. We've collected 3,100, and you'll see that we moved it up into this one to 3,500 on your line item here. Sales tax. Sales tax, we anticipated last year $993,000. We've collected $867,000, which is 87%. That's right on track where we should be. As I mentioned, we should be at 84%. So we kept that pretty much level. We kept it, we anticipated 993 last year. We have 995 in here. All right, rents. Christy, would you give us an idea of what rents are in income?
It is going to be the antennas for Skybeam that are on our water tower. They pay us a monthly stipend to keep those on the water tower.
And again, we anticipated last year $6,750. We have spent $5,743. I'm sorry, we brought in that much. We're at 85%. Again, that's right on the money. So we kept it we kept it stagnant. Any questions about any of that?
What is it we're renting at the water tower
It
location?
is a internet provider that has got their antennas on our water tower.
Very good.
All right, and then the last thing in the general fund, we did not put any money into this year's budget line item as we did last year for any of our pet adoptions, pet registrations, or impound fees. That seems like something that may wind up going away, so we didn't project any revenue.
Stefania had mentioned that there were donations that were made to the animal control program. What happens with those?
So some of those donations last year went to build the kennels
Okay.
and some of those other things. There was, I think we still have a line item for donations to come in. Yeah, animal control donations is a line item on here, and you'll see that we had a donation made into that. I don't know how much it was, but
And those are gonna be okay as far as this whole
You know-
general law thing goes?
that happened or before we were
I
made
know.
aware that was a problem.
I wanna get that changed.
Yeah.
So
So I'm gonna tell you, we as a city have done that. We've accepted a lot of donations over the past.
we should be
And-
able
But
to,
now we're not.
And now,
yeah,
We've changed.
we should be able to.
so, yes, we've done that in the past. It's been a
I know.
historical part of the way the city has operated.
It's an, yeah, it seems to be it should be an implied thing based on how cities everywhere have operated, so.
Yeah.
And in that case, are you talking about financial donations, or are you talking about,
Any type, as the attorney has told us, pretty much anything outside of Parks and Recreation at this point are not allowed to be
Not allowed.
taken in donations. So we're gonna say thank you we had somebody want to donate a side-by-side to the animal control to auction off. That would have brought in probably $10,000. Unfortunately, we can't. The way to do that, and this is off topic, but they need to set up a 501c3 that can then be donated to the 501c3, and that 501c3 can auction it. That takes the city out of the equation.
So we need a Friends of Whitney 501c3. We need a Friends of Whitney 501c3. Okay,
That's how we accept donations.
yeah.
well, I gave blankets and towels and that sort of thing
Right.
throughout the year last year as I came across them.
I think the best thing to do as far as animal control goes would be to continue to reach out to Stefania and the citizens that are taking the initiative to take care of that on their own and donate to them directly
Right.
until we can figure this out.
I have several friends locally and non-locally that are very much into animal protection.
Sure. Okay, so we did not factor into the revenues any of the animal registrations, anything like that, because as our citizens have stepped up, you have seen the need for the city to take care of this problem diminish. As Chief Scholes clearly articulated, their call volumes come down because our citizens are stepping up to take care of it. So the whole purpose of having that pet registration was to help fund the city's animal control thing.
Right.
So we didn't budget any of that in here. So if it comes in, it'll be in addition to what's projected.
Okay.
The only other thing we have in here as far as revenue is the other revenue section. And that, where is it on my,
Other revenue?
yeah, I gotta get my ruler. Chris, will you do me a favor and go in my office and get my blue ruler? Sorry, my eyes are gone so bad on me. I have to have,
You're not old enough.
Alright.
Just wait.
yeah. I've already got up 2 prescriptions on my reading glasses.
This is where the zoom on the computer is really handy.
So 75,000 is What we, thank you very much. 4,100, right here. Last year we anticipated that we would bring in $78,670 in other revenue. Christy, would you kind of talk about what other revenue is so everybody has a clear understanding of how that works?
So on the other revenue side, it's things that are not anticipated throughout the year that we get reimbursements for, different, other than what we already do collections for, that doesn't fall under any of those, that's where the other goes to. And sometimes it's large like it is now, and then you're gonna get other years where it's not so large. But it just happens to be this year that it did take every bit of it.
So last year we anticipated $78,670. We've brought in $75,313, which is 96% of projection. We just put $75,000 again in this revenue line item because that's pretty good average of what has been. If we look over here, we can go over, and you can see some years we bring in 144,000, some years, and on that one we only anticipated $20,000. So it's a pretty good average to plug $75,000 in there as far as a good estimate of anticipated revenue. All right, and with those numbers, oh, I'm sorry, there's more. We have inspections. Inspections, we have $20,000 budgeted. That was exactly what we did last year, was $20,000, and we brought in $18,000, so that's 91%. So we left that number stagnant across the board. Ambulance service, last year we had a projection of $180,000 in revenue. That's gone up this year significantly, and I want to make something clear here. So there's been a lot of confusion about why the city had to do away with the $5 ambulance fee that was being charged, and then them not being charged a fee inside the city limits or as a citizen. Not only did that have to do with a lot of the legalities of us having a subscription program, to which we weren't supposed to be doing, it also put us in a very precarious situation with the billing company, because they were unable to differentiate what was actually city limits and Whitney 76692. So that meant everybody that the ambulance was having to respond to in the county was automatically assumed to have lived inside city Whitney. So that has boosted the revenue significantly. So we're going to move the projection up on that to 225. So far this year, I believe they're at like 220.
221.
Yeah, so they're at 221 this year already. So we're going to say next year it's going to be 225. High probability it'll be more than that.
Just about 2 more months.
Yes.
We should be at 10 months right now. So, and again, we only projected 180 last year. ESD2, that's our fire department's first responder calls that they make into the county. Any medical calls they respond to. They've been making a lot more calls than they have in the past, mainly because some of our surrounding departments don't either have the capability to respond or they're covering down for them. So last year, $42.99. Last year we projected 7,500. So far this year they're already at 21,910. So we moved that number up to 20,000 in projected revenue. We do not think, as people continue to age around this community, that it's going to get any easier for those guys.
The class had said one time that we had more deaths in Hope County than we had ours.
Oh, really?
It's getting there.
Yeah.
Watch it when you refer to old people.
Yeah,
Just saying.
I are one of them.
All right, so let's add up, because it should have been separated out in this, and I'm sorry that it wasn't. Let me add this up. Does anybody have any questions or comments about the general fund projected revenues at this point? Needs music playing like Jeopardy.
I used to play music on YouTube during a closed session when I was waiting for people. My stream was still running, but then Facebook would ding it for
Oh, yeah.
copyright issues.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, here's the round numbers. Everybody ready for it? You need to make
Drum
note,
roll.
you need to make note of this. So with the projections here that we have plugged in into general fund revenue, it is $2,655,250. Everybody tracking?
Yep.
All right.
We broke.
All right. Everybody prepared to move on into water and sewer sales?
Yep.
Did you give them an updated water? Okay.
I've got,
And are we on page, is this page 3 or where?
It should be further in the back.
Okay.
Because the water is a separate income source, then,
Was in the general fund?
yes.
Yes, second from the end.
I guess I don't have that here. Must have put it somewhere else. Okay, so in the water sales, remember we should be at 84%. So we are at 87% of our water sales revenue right now. We anticipated 650,000 in revenue. We bumped that up just a little bit in this year's estimation based off the fact that we know hopefully the Trinity Estates project gets finished and some of these other things that we know are coming, some of the larger, the O'Reilly's that's coming, you know, some of those other things. So we know some projects are coming, and we have not hit our busiest water season yet. As it continues to dry out, water sales will go up. So we're anticipating 675,000 in water sales. Sewer sales, as you recall, earlier in the year we had to raise the or sewer rates because it hadn't been touched in forever. The anticipation there is to raise the sewer rates to help pay for that wastewater plant that we all know is coming down the pipe. So that's why you see 118% on that. Based off those numbers, we've raised the sewer sales estimated revenue to 420,000 in next year's budget. Also, sanitation fees. If you take what we've done so far this year, divide it by 10, multiply it by 12, it came up. We've already collected 91%, so we're estimating 400,000 in sanitation fees instead of the 375,000 we had in the budget last year.
And we had a very wet spring But now we're having a dry summer, so I expect that you'll have a lot of increase during the last few months.
Right, yeah, like I said, we haven't hit our busy season yet. Water tap fees and sewer tap fees, we could probably go up on those a little bit based off of the known projects that are coming. Again, these are just numbers that based off of where we were yesterday. We did find out that we had 3 water taps that do not reflect in this. So essentially, the current revenue will be $6,200 instead of the $3,100 that's in your packet there. So we're over that. The connect fees, again, we just used what was collected here in our current revenue, the divide by 10, multiply by 12. That's how we came up with all of those numbers for connect fee, late fee, admin fee, and the yeah, that's it. Anybody have any questions about any of that? Okay. So transfer in lake water reserve. So we have surface water rights to Lake Whitney. Every year we have to pay those, and there has been a fund set up every year that we take that money from, transfer it to general fund, and pay that with. That fund will be depleted this year. Our water, we're estimating that our surface water rights are going to cost us about $83,000 this year. So we have about a $41,000 deficit, but we'll get to that later. I just want you to be aware of what that is. So we only have that $42,500 left in that water reserve fund to pay for those surface water rights this year. So with that being said, that brings,
Isn't water supposed to be free?
Yeah.
That's what I've always heard.
that brings your water revenue from the water department side to $1,555,500. Questions, comments, concerns before we move to the next part of our project?
Can you share for the public what the surface water stuff is about?
Sure. So when the lake was impounded in the early 50s, it initially was for hydropower. In the Brazos River Authority, the city of Whitney has surface water rights to that lake, meaning for potable water. That means as we continue to grow, and these plans that we've been speaking about for the past 2 years, and some of these things that we've talked about with the Texas Water Development Board, one of those things that we're looking for is a feasibility study for us to be able to utilize that surface water. Get that surface water, have the capacity to grow this city with water. So, yes, we've paid for this for a very long time, but I will tell you right now that water is the new oil. Okay? Water is the new gold. Because everywhere is running out of water.
I don't deny that. It's a worldwide issue.
So I believe there's only one other person that has surface water rights to that lake right now, and that's White Bluff, and it's not for potable water. It's only to water their golf course. We as the city, I believe, are the only ones that have potable water, so drinking water rights to that lake. So we pay that every year. It has been multiple times tried to been bought out from underneath us by larger municipalities. And it's very enticing to say, yeah, we can sell it now, but I'm telling you right now, that is a commodity that you do not want to let go of.
And this kind of ties in with the Corps of Engineer
Right.
meeting on Thursday.
Correct.
That's
Yes.
exactly right. Yep, because I will be asking that very specific question, is
Yes.
how that will affect our rights.
And a lot of people don't realize that we are putting potable water on our golf courses, on our landscaping. It's all the same treated water.
Exactly. Okay, any questions, comments, or concerns about the estimated revenue projections before we move on into the expenditure side? No? Okay. Moving on. Excuse me, let me get a drink of water.
Water.
Holy 2 liters of Coke, man.
I'll take that today.
I go through about 2 of these a day.
Oh,
Yeah.
good lord.
that's so bad for the kidneys.
How do your kidneys not revolt on
You
you?
know what? I made it across the Grand Canyon twice. I'll just stay active.
Oh. All right. So let me, if you would, turn to your expenditure side of the in your packet to administration. Let me pull up.
Can you tell us what page it is?
It's gonna be page
2.
2.
Judge, you still with us back there?
Still am.
Okay.
He's covering our 6 for us.
Yes.
Trying not to be rude as I'm working on the phone.
Okay, so this is the expenditure side. There's going to be a lot of changes based off of what we had last year in some of these arenas. As we know, admin assistant has left and not being replaced. That is in this budget. Keep in mind that Ben, our IT director, will be going part-time this year. So when we get to IT, you will not see a salary there. What we did was we factored his part-time salary into admin. We factored him in at working 1,000 hours a year, essentially, because 1,000 hours, that's a TMRS thing. So that's essentially 20 hours a week that he could work. It may be, some weeks may be less, some weeks may be more, but he'll be working in a part-time capacity. That means we won't be getting retirement, health care, any of that. So you're going to see a reduction there. Also, we do not at this point plan to replace our code enforcement officer, which we had budgeted last year. So that's going to be a reduction when we get there. In admin, so in the salaries department, it is, that's your breakdown on who's and what. That's me, Christy, Tessa. Half of Tessa's salary, because she's the municipal court clerk, comes in of admin, and half of her salary comes out of municipal court, because she doesn't only work municipal court. She does permits and she does all other stuff. So we split her salary between admin and municipal courts. So that's how that breaks down. Everybody's figured at a 3% increase this year. That seems to be the standard pretty much across the board when we looked at other municipalities and counties and such. So that's how that shakes out. Questions, comments, concerns?
I have a question. Why are we not gonna do a code enforcement officer?
We'll get to that police department. I promise I have something for you.
Okay,
We have something plugged in.
okay.
Questions, comments, concerns about admin? Okay, so overtime, the only person that's factored into overtime is Tessa, because of those people, she's the only hourly employee. Tessa helps with the elections and she does some other things, so that's the only overtime that's plugged in there. Longevity pay, Christy's been here since Methuselah, so
She started when she was 1 years old.
so
Close.
most of that is her longevity pay, and the council approved a couple years ago to give $100 per year after you've been here 2 years as an incentive to stay.
Up to 25.
Yeah, but you only get up to 25 years. So once you get to 25 years, it tops out. You can't keep accruing. Sorry,
I'll talk. Long time ago.
all right, certification pay, we offer incentives to our staff to get incentives at 50 cents an hour per certification they get. Mostly this pertains to public works and stuff, but this is a way for them to better themselves, and it not factor into necessarily their salary. Does that make sense, how we kind of did that? It's easier to justify when you break it down this way. Plus, it reflects clearly to them why they're getting what they're getting. Right now, we don't have anything in admin because we're all salaried except for Tessa, and any certification she's gonna get is gonna come out of municipal court.
And the employee pays for the certification training themselves, but then,
No. No, most of the stuff for like public works and stuff, we pay for that training. It's the budgeted line item. But here's the problem we've seen in the past is we send people to school, they get
Yeah.
the certifications, and they run to a larger municipality.
So can
So-
we not have a contract with them to say that they have to stay for a certain length of time or give their money back?
I agree.
That is a legal question that we could ask. But I know there has been in the past.
Yeah, there's a lot of times a 2-year contract or something that must be negotiated.
I know the county, if the sheriff's office had something similar, if they put a jailer through police academy, then they require them to work X amount of years at the sheriff's office. I do know, speaking with the county attorney about that prior, they did run into legal difficulties trying to make such a contract, so I would just caution the city, make sure you do your research before you do something.
Yeah, I think that those things are honestly, from what I've learned and researched, is not worth much more than the paper they're written on. Because any good attorney worth their weight can.
A lot of sticky tar that just doesn't wash off.
But we can definitely look into that.
Well, the only thing I can say is we had a tuition reimbursement program, and they would pay you after you took the class.
Not
You
here.
had to stay. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have that here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Social Security, Medicare, what we do there is we take the salaries, overtime, longevity, plug all those numbers in, multiply that by our federal government's rate of 7.65%. That's what comes out in your Social Security, FICA, all that jazz. And that's how we come to that number. Workers' comp, that's something that Christy can speak on. This past year, we budgeted $43,000 and we're at $36,000, which is 85%, which is right in line. But they give us an estimation every year, and Christy can speak to that.
Yeah, I spoke with TML IRP that came by my office the other day, and she said ours went down 3% from last year, and that gave us a total of $36,848 for our work comp.
So we plugged in 37,000. All right, Texas Workforce Commission. So that's like putting a dartboard on the wall and closing your eyes and throwing a baseball at it and hope you hit the wall. Last year we budgeted really high for that and came in really, really low. So what we've done is, we want to kind of break down how we figured that.
So you go by years past, you can kind of see where the ups and the downs have come. And this year, we're noticing a trend that we should be going up this year on ours. And right now, we're at 0.7% for the TWC. And if I'm not mistaken, what did we go to on that one?
We plugged in 2,500, which is pretty much what we did last year, a little bit more, but you can see we've only expended 10% of that.
Yeah.
So we're thinking this year is gonna come at us more.
Yeah. Because that's the way it goes. They get you low one year and then they'll go up.
It's one of the hardest ones to project, actually.
Are we allowed to talk now over here?
Sorry?
Are we allowed to say anything?
Well, the public comment's actually been closed, but what,
Because on the work comp side, just because it's something that we touch regularly, I'm assuming that's all just your premiums cost, right?
Yeah, they come out quarterly.
So, like, we work with the city of Hillsborough on work comp, where they'll send us the work comp folks. There's some folks who they won't file through workers' comp, like if it's a laceration, there's not gonna be any need to take them out of work. And they'll just pay for it outright so their premiums don't go up, because that's high premiums. And like, so, that's something to consider.
gotcha,
That way your future premiums don't go up.
that's interesting.
But yeah, the city of Hillsborough sends all their cases.
Thank you. All right, so expendable supplies, we went down on that. We actually expended more this year. We think we figured out why. Oh, I'm sorry, we went up on that. I'm on the wrong line item. We were at 119% on the expendable supplies, so we went up from 3,200 to 5,000. So last year in the budget, you will recall that we cut out a lot of our, I would call them ancillary services. So those ancillary services were pest control, our cleaning crew, some of those type of ancillary things. Well, that meant we started doing them. So obviously expendable supplies like cleaning supplies have gone up. So we moved that up to $5,000 from 3,200. We've tried really hard over the past few years to identify those things that we could do in-house and reduce them. It's a small reduction, but small things add up. Office supplies, we had budgeted last year 5,000. We went up to 8,000 on that because, as I just mentioned, we've been using a third-party billing service for our water billing. We have now brought that in-house. So we kept seeing a consistent problem with getting water bills out on time. And it wasn't necessarily anything we were doing, or it was just it was another step in the process that we could eliminate. So because of that, we're going to have more office supplies to print and envelopes and things like that. We've taken some of that into the admin budget, and a lot of that's going to come out of the water budget. But some of it, is admin time being spent. So along with the supplies that are used in the admin.
Do we use a printing company locally?
Yeah, City of Whitney.
Yeah, we do now. We had a company that was out of state that was doing our printing for us. It just so happens that they went bankrupt about the time we were leaving them, so it
The
just kind of
company
made
that-
sense at that point.
The company that was taking over was about to put us over a barrel.
Yes,
They were.
And I don't like being put in a position where you're holding me hostage. And instead of doing that, I asked Ben and Christy and the girls to figure out a way to bring this in-house. It will cost us a little bit more money initially, but we now have control over it. And if it fails now, it's on us. And there's not
how
another
many water
step.
bills do we send out each month?
1,100.
And
we have folded every one of those for the last 3 billing
I
cycles.
understand that.
Cheryl, that's something you can volunteer to come do.
We have a folding
It's one of those
machine.
things
Yes,
you
we have a
do while
folding
you're
machine
watching
now.
TV.
We are
Um,
excited to use.
I was getting 2 water bills. Have we consolidated that?
Well, I went paperless and I'm still
I did
getting
too,
them
and I'm
back.
still getting, just something to think about.
There's no way to consolidate one bill onto two bills onto one piece of paper. There's no way to consolidate that. It prints. It downloads a file for us. That file is then uploaded to our printer, and it prints those for us. And then
Can we do front and back? Can we do that front and back? Well, look,
it would have to be able to
It would
identify.
have to be done at the admin's
No, I don't
level.
wanna touch that.
They would have to.
We'll look
create
into it.
system.
And do we need to have a mailed printed one if we're doing it online?
What, say that again?
Yeah, I didn't communicate well. Do we need to have a mailed one when the person's being billed online anyway? And get notification through email?
I'll have to look at Edmunds and see if it has the ability to exclude that.
Okay, thank you.
well, I think that's honestly a check and balance, because
Yeah.
if you don't, I didn't get the email. I honestly think
But other bills are done that way.
Oh, I get
very many
it, but
times,
trust me,
so-
people tell me all the time, well, I didn't see it in the newspaper. Okay, well, it was also posted on Facebook. Well, I don't have internet. So how do you get your news?
Just a possibility of
Yeah.
saving a little bit.
Sure. I wrote it down. Okay, liability insurance here, we budgeted last year 40,000. We're at 142% of that. So that,
We had an 8.59% increase this year on our liability insurance. I spoke with her on that and the liability side. And the property side, that's where the increase came in, because those are a combined insurance. We were up 5% in real, up 5% in contents, rate was up 4.7% in the mobile equipment, because of all the mobile equipment we have in our police cars and everything, it was up 5% also.
Remember, we had a lot of claims with the hail this year, the roof, that kind of stuff. So we projected with the liability insurance going up to $76,728. Excuse me, health insurance. Health insurance has gone up. You will be looking at this at the council meeting next month, later this month. These rates will all be presented to you for looking. Right now, this rate is figured at $850 per employee per month. That's $810 for health. I had it put down somewhere. It's $810 a month for health insurance, $25.42 for dental, $6.19 for vision, and $7 for life. And we rounded that up to $850 per. That's how we figured here. Now, that being said, when we had our meeting with the insurance, our insurance broker, he said that that rate could potentially come down because they based that off of our highest usage employees, and they're no longer here. So that rate could potentially go down. But right now, we still have to factor in the higher rate because we just don't know. We're really hoping to have those real numbers for you guys at this next council meeting, because you'll have to vote on that for us. Repairs and maintenance. I don't know if you have noticed the gigantic hole that's in that ceiling over there, but this air conditioner is about to go out, and we need to make some repairs in this. We just replaced the one over here. This is factoring in replacing both of our other roof units here, as well as fixing that ceiling and some other minor stuff that we need to do inside the city hall.
And that's separate from what was voted on at.
That's correct. Yep. So we have two more. And this one right here has been worked on 3 times in the past week. So the reason that ceiling's pulled out like that is because it started leaking and coming through. And they told us that in order for them to fix that, they're going to have to essentially remove that unit. And since it's a 1967 model, just like this one, it doesn't make much sense to spend the money to continue to do that.
Yeah. I think we got our notes working.
Yeah. Okay, contracted services. Contracted services, we have a breakdown on what that looks like here. One of the things that we have plugged in here that has not been in the past, that we're going to be asking you guys to look at the next council meeting, is because Ben is going to be going part-time as an part-time employee from IT. We're going to be presenting an option for another company to fill the gap, contract that part out. The goal here is for that company to take over all IT services. Ben's going to be a stopgap because Ben wants to retire. Ben doesn't want to be a part-time employee. Ben's going to help us this year as a part-time employee familiarize that company, and the intent is for that company to take over. Again, we'll be presenting that to you guys at this next council meeting. As it stands right now, that contract is somewhere over here. It came out to be roughly, we factored $32,500. So the rate was right at $2,500 a month for them, but they also have like an on-site visit they did not have budgeted. It wasn't in their quote, they just gave us a flat rate. So we figured 10 trips a year. We don't know how many that's going to be. Again, we're going to have Ben as a part-time, so this is going to be a year to kind of feel out how that's going to look. So with that, we also have our data shredding, which is done quarterly, and we figured that at $800. And these are all based off of what we've been billed, and we have the expenditures. Did you give them the audit trail to look at?
These are all broke down by department.
So data shredding, we have $800, RSI Cloud, and give them what that is.
That is our ability to scan to the copier, isn't that correct?
What's it called?
RSI Cloud, there we go.
You know, the cloud.
It's $20 a month,
Yeah,
so that comes out to $240. And then the water cooler,
in our office.
the water dispenser cooler thing is $225 times 12 for $2,700 a year. So that total comes out to $36,240 in contracted services. Questions, concerns, comments?
No, but it's essential. I mean, I don't think any of us at this table can keep up with the pace of IT development. It's just impossible.
It's
Or at least my brain can't. I won't speak for anybody else in the room.
it's becoming a necessary evil.
And then, all around it.
Utilities. Utilities this year, we budgeted 23.5, we're already at 22.4, so we were at 95%, so we went up with the, like I said before, typically you're gonna see when we do that, we just take the average, divide it by 10, multiply it by 12. That's how we came up with 27,867. All right, the next big one here, professional services. Christy, give us a breakdown on what's in professional services.
So we pay Hill County Appraisal District to assess, bill, and collect our property taxes for us, because you have to have someone that's certified to be able to do all of that, and they've been doing that very well for us for the last many years. We also have the attorney that comes out of that for professional, anything that is put in the papers for like the ads in the paper, those are put in under professional services also. We have also two, let's see here. General code that takes care of our ordinances for the codify of that. That is under professional services as well. So when we pass a new ordinance every year or every month, we send that off to be codified, and then it's added to our ordinance book. And that is about what comes out of there.
Attorney.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, already
Missed that
told
one. I must have been getting a drink. Okay, so last year we budgeted 110,000. We were at 81% of that. We did have a bill come in for the attorneys that was not factored into this, so it's going to put us a little over the 84% we think. So we projected 120,000. That's not a large. That's not a big increase in that. We think that number is going to be right on 120 if it stays the same. Questions, comments, concerns?
So that's even with all the increases of having to get them to look at these public request forms and everything, and all that's factored in?
Yep, we're on track. We are on track. Audit services, we budgeted 35,000 last year. We have expended 62,720, and we're at 179%. Now, as we've talked about before, we know we were getting caught up on a lot of things, and that auditor was coming in and doing a lot of help with Christy and spent a lot more time here. We're hopeful that's not the case anymore. We're very hopeful now that we have this better system, better accountability system that we can monitor our finances and much better than the last ERP we had, that audit is going to go way down. We don't know though. We're still, because we still have to get into that old system for this last audit, it's a problem. And it could cause us some hiccups. So that's why we didn't go way down on that. We actually went up to 50, just based off what we spent this year, and in hopes that we do not have to spend that. Again, it's kind of a guesstimate.
And I don't like to go back into historical stuff, but previous to this administration, our auditing wasn't done very well. And can you give me an idea of why?
I have no idea, ma'am. I was not in this position, and I just can tell you that it just looked like it didn't get the attention that it needed necessarily.
And I appreciate
I
that
don't know.
we're doing a better job.
All right. Anybody have any questions or concerns about that? Dues and subscriptions is our next one. We've gone up on that because we're at 133%. Christy, can you give us an idea of what's in the dues and subscription area?
Yeah, we've got the post office box that went up exponentially this year. It's over $500 a year for our post office box, but you have to have it, of course. We have hosting for our website on there. We have renewals for Texas Municipal Clerks Association.
Is the hosting through the website?
It is $1,000. Yes.
So that needs to go to IT.
Yeah, we can move that. We have the dues for the Heart of Texas Council of Government that we're a part of on that. Texas Social Security Program, that's a yearly fee that we pay. It's a $35 fee, not much. We have the TML member services fee we pay to them every year to be a member of TML. There's also a membership fee to, actually it's bond renewals for myself and Billy and Tessa and Judge Tom. And they are covered under bonds, and that's what comes out of those.
Is that web hosting $1,000 a year or a month?
A year.
Okay. I'm gonna plug that. Give me 1 second here. I need to make a change.
Oh, I forgot the SAM renewal, which is what allows us to go after grants. I paid for a 2-year renewal this go around.
And you call that the SAM?
SAM.
Buffering.
Of course.
What's going on with this thing? I'll plug it in a minute. Okay, so what is, if we remove Cave Consulting from dues and subscriptions to the IT repairs and maintenance,
It'll go down to $4,500.
That's what we pay them?
No, we pay them $1,000.
$1,000
A year.
That'll put us right back in line with what we budgeted this year, 4,000, and we're at 5332. Are there
Yeah.
any more anticipated expenses that are going to be coming out of that this year?
No, there should not be anything
Okay.
else.
If the council is comfortable with that, I think I would like to reduce the dues and subscription back down to 4,000 in this budget line item. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Capital outlay, that's any of our stuff that we would dedicate any money to for special projects. As you can see, we have $0 budgeted there.
There is one expense on this one that I just saw that needs to be moved to a different jail.
On what?
It's a training class that I took,
Okay.
because the training number 6280 and I coded it at 6180,
Okay.
so we need to move that.
All right, election expense, we budgeted $3,000 last year, and we spent $2,631 for 88%. Would there be any reason that we needed to go higher than 3,000?
No.
I don't think so.
So if council is in agreement, I'm gonna reduce this back down to 3,000. Or is there any reason that we should not maybe say, have we ever spent more than 2631.90?
That I'm not sure.
Alright.
I've always just kept it at 3,000.
What is the, I know that we just had state law saying we can move to November's. How would that impact something like this?
Well, so that is gonna be up to Aaron, what Aaron would charge us to do our election for us. That may change the fee on that, if they charge us more to have
So,
to do our election.
isn't the November thing surrounding bonds? Because I didn't think we could put bonds on May elections anymore, that it had to be on November.
They were going to move everything. to
Yeah, this is a new state law that says municipalities have the opportunity now to move to November elections. I don't know whether that would be fiscally prudent, depending on what they want to charge, or how that would even work with what everybody here wanted to do as far as
Well,
handling
a lot of
local
it,
elections.
you gotta think too, it hinges on the school district, because if the school district changes to have Aaron do their elections for us, then we'll have to move also.
Because we've been doing joint.
It's a lot cheaper that way.
Yeah,
Definitely.
consolidating everybody's stuff.
So I'm looking at historicals here. We've typically budgeted $3,000, and it looks like we had an expense of $29.40 one year, $27.04, and then this year $20.63. So I think I can probably confidently tell you that we should probably reduce that number down from 4,000 down to about $27.50.
What all is included in that? What are we paying for?
That's the school district to do our whole election for us, which includes the judges, the machines to do the election for us. So, paperwork.
Yeah, I think we can adjust it to
3, okay, 3 or $27.50.
3, or 2750 if we haven't gotten it.
We've only
So
gone
we're
over
on
that
one
one year.
time.
So I think that, I mean, that's gonna be, you talk about bare bones, that's gonna be cutting by the skin of your teeth, but I think
So
that's
why
what
not
we
just
have
say
to do.
28? So, instead of 2750.
Done. You win.
Okay.
Okay,
Make yourself in the middle.
you're negotiating with yourself, that's the key of a good negotiator right there. Get them to negotiate with themselves.
Good job.
All right, travel expense, Christy, you wanna talk about what's in travel expense and, what's come out of that this year on the audit trail?
So travel expense is, anybody in our department, which would be myself or Billy or Tessa, would have to go to any type of training. Their food comes out of there, their mileage or their gas comes out of that, hotel comes out of that. If we have to stay overnight for the training, that's basically all that's come out of that. I'm just looking at this.
So when we go to TML, in October, does that come out of travel expense?
Yes.
And what about the mayor? Is hers included in that? Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
For those that didn't hear, that the question was, does the mayor's travel expense come out of that as well? The answer is yes.
And that's in Fort Worth this year?
Yes. Thank goodness.
Close to home.
All right, so this year we budgeted $32.50. We are $585 over that. We had an extra training, I think, for Christy last year, or this last budget year that we,
Election law.
for the election law that we
Now
did,
going again.
that we sent her to. So that's why we're over. So we bumped that up to 4,000 with the anticipation of the increase of everything. Rentals. You may ask why we need to rent a sports car. No, I'm just kidding.
In Vegas.
Christy, would you like to speak on what rentals expenditure is?
So rentals is our copy machine every month. We pay $320.90 a month for our copy machine. We also have our postage machine that we pay $197.85 quarterly to have the postage machine. And that is all that comes out. Except for now, we may do the new machine for the bills.
Ben, does that, the RICO add-on, is that gonna go on to a rental type bill, or is that gonna be figured into the IT repair and maintenance?
I would put it on rental.
Okay,
Do we know how
Well,
much?
you'll have multiple charges, so, I don't know how you're gonna do the postage. Will that? But yes, the machine itself will go in under the rentals.
Do you, off chance, no?
I'll have to look.
Okay.
check your internet connection. Get out of here with that nonsense. Okay, so in rentals, we may have to adjust that number,
For the machine.
for the new, we actually went down on that, last year. If the council would agree, I think I should move that to 5,000. More.
Where's it coming
Go
from?
Did it for Rico? I think you need to go up.
Where will it go?
The, unless we wanna take it out of the rentals for water and sewer instead of mine, since that is for
Yep.
water bills.
Yep,
That's kind of the way
Yeah.
I've done
Yeah.
the other spreadsheet is I've been.
that'll also help come out of the water revenue side instead of the general fund,
Right.
so
Yeah.
we'll move it there.
Okay, that'll work.
So we're gonna
Leave this.
leave this at 46, that's down from 4,750, a little bit, but. All right, so retirement, this is a big one, guys. We've talked several years about trying to get these folks better retirement. Most all municipalities these days are at least a 2-to-1 match, instead of a 1-to-1 match like we are right now. We're also only at a 5% match. Retirement is so doggone expensive when it comes down to it. Right now, what you're seeing in the budget right now up there is just a 5% 1-to-1 match. And that's at 3.83% total contribution rate on behalf of the city. If we were to go to a 2-to-1 match at 5%, it goes up to 9.46%. So just to give you an idea what that looks like, let me go up here real quick. Times 9.46%. So instead of that retirement number being $8,307, if we were to move the city employees to a 2-to-1 match at 5%, all right, that number would jump to $21,951. That's just at a 5%. Most municipalities are now at a 7%, okay? I'm telling you this to keep, as a word of caution, we have to find a way to be competitive.
That's how you retain employees, is one of the benefits is the retirement program.
Again, knowing where we're at position with money, this budget's factored at a 5%, 1-to-1. So I just want to plant those seeds in your guys' heads that it's really easy. There was a gap. Folks used to work for retirement, then there was a generation that didn't really care.
Right.
We're starting to get back to that generation of, I'm looking for the long-term gig, right? So just keep that in the back of your minds. We would love to be at a 7% 2-to-1.
Can't afford it.
That jumps up to a 15% match rate. So
I guess you could be like the rest of us and push out baskets at Walmart.
So TMRS on their retirement and the 2-to-1, is that cover their insurance too?
and I'm gonna tell you right now, Christy's been here almost 30 years. And based off of, I ran my own numbers. It says I'm eligible to retire in 2036 because of my military time. There's not a chance in the snowball and you know where that I would be able to make it.
Yeah.
No way.
gonna work till I'm 100.
My
It's a
sister-
struggle.
My sister just lost her job after 22 years with the same company.
When you run the numbers at a 5% window, I'm sorry, it's just
Very,
not,
very frightening.
it's just, there's no, you might as well just plan on cashing that out and investing it when you get out. Because,
Which is probably the smarter move
And then go get
regardless.
another job.
I'm just saying, because I ran my rate, and based off what they projected me, I was gonna have like $1,080 a month if I retired in 2036. Come on.
I understand.
Well, the way they look at it, at that age, you're not supposed to have a house payment, you're not supposed to have a car payment. Your taxes.
You just gonna be old.
And your kids are supposed to be grown up.
Yeah,
Never
no
come
college
back
loans,
home
that's
to
what they're
live with
looking
you.
at.
So trainings, we had 3,000 budgeted last year. We've only used 464% of that. That is an underutilized item that we need to do better at. We kept it at 3,000 because I know that the council has been wanting to take more classes. And I felt like if we left this number at 3,000, that maybe that could be budgeted, but that's up to you guys. If you want if you want this in here, then that's what that is. We've only used 15% of it. So we can reduce it, or we can keep it the same, or we can move it up. Now's the time to talk about it.
Well, I definitely can see that we could do, I'd like to take some more training personally.
I've committed to covering my own trainings, so.
You're taking donations for that, right? And that's legal?
Because it's a private donation for a private individual use.
All right, so $3,000 is comfortable to leave it there, or
I say something.
just what is the typical cost? Like $40, $50 for a TML type base?
The interesting thing about TML webinars is that if one of us covers the cost, then it's shareable with everybody in the city organization, not the public, sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that we can do with the online stuff that benefits everybody.
It's the ones like the mayor and I have to go to.
The in-person ones that,
Yeah.
That cost
Yeah.
significant
Those are pricey.
amount of money.
And there's also a lot out there that are free.
yeah.
I mean, you have your ethics commission, you have the attorney general, you have all of those
Right.
offer free training.
Okay,
And
so
the TMCA offers a ton of really great training too, even for council.
IT repair and maintenance. This is something you're gonna see different, because last year, all the city's IT repair and maintenance landed in admin budget. So that means we covered everything from water, police, that all landed in our budget. This year, we broke it out. We broke it down to individual departments. One of the things that we have, see if I can just open this time. Okay, so this is the large sheet that's printed out for you. It has all the IT estimates broke down.
It's not complete, but we're getting there.
Ben must have done this.
The only thing that we're missing at this point is Verizon and
Verizon should be, yeah, it's there.
Is it what?
Verizon's in there now.
Oh, yeah, I see.
And then the internet, Vive.
Yeah,
We need to find out what Vive is, because there's more nodes in certain areas, and
Yeah,
is that the right word? Node.
I got it.
So that'll move our number to 44,207 when I move the $1,000.
And again, on that, Billy, I made, so Texas shows under municipal courts and safety, goes to public works.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about what's coming out of what there? again, only thing we don't know is Vive. Do we have an estimation on, Ben? Do we have an estimation about what Vive should cost us? That I could plug a number in?
It's about $2,500 a month.
Total or for each one?
So,
A couple of departments are more than others.
yeah.
Well, and just by way of, dragging the pricier ones out, can you share about Dark Trace and, SCADA?
Are we in
Dark Trace is our perimeter security system. So it's an AI-based system that basically monitors all network traffic and shuts it off if it's inappropriate. So inappropriate can be if it's coming from a third party that we don't recognize. It can be porn. It can be inappropriate websites. It can be pretty much anything. But it sits out on the very edge of our network and basically protects us.
And it has recently.
Yeah. We're getting it more, now that AI has become more and more mainstream, we're getting hit constantly. The SCADA is a physical device that runs all of our water sewer systems.
And it's 1996 model.
And it is well past the end of life, and I would strongly tell y'all that it is our largest security risk right now in this city, and it's a big one.
That'll come out of water though, that one, so that'll be under a different revenue.
And it's, I think in my sheet, it's the only place I have it coming out of.
Yeah.
So it is a lump sum.
Well, that does go back to water being high value commodity.
Amen. All right, and then the credit card service charge has gone up significantly. As we continue to try to push towards a cashless society, you're going to see more and more and more of this, where they get a bigger chunk of a piece of the pie. So we went up from $4,000 of last year's budget, because we were already 222% of that budget, with a year-to-date expenditure of $8,954. We're projecting $10,000 for next year. So that pretty much wraps up the admin budget. That gives us a total budget in the admin GLs of $740,901.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody need to take
Take a break?
5-minute break real quick and head down?
Yes.
Quick admin, housekeeping, restrooms right down the hall there if you need
We
it.
have snacks and
And
tea if anybody wants a
Call
snack.
recess, Mayor.
Recess at 11:17. Hey.
You're up next.
About the Indian reservation that you recommended to me. I was gonna bring it back to you. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it back to you. I'll explain to you later some of the symbolism that I found in it. It's actually a book you could go out and read it.
Was that the women's one that was a snake, or was that one of the other insurance on?
Yeah, it was on the book sale thing.
Okay.
You pulled it out, you said this is really a good one.
Good.
That's what I feel like I need to return it back to you. If you end up bringing it outside on the streets, but there was so much symbolism in it. So I just believe that Native American culture. So I thought
In the fridge?
So, anyway, I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Awesome, yes.
No, I didn't make him. Not this time, I didn't.
I'm gonna wait a little longer. I wasn't gonna stay long.
not good enough.
We gotta have all of this.
But they're all gonna be spelled differently.
Too much of a good thing.
How many ways have you seen Christie spelled?
And think about it, it's all those 60s and 70s, you know, there's probably 10 in every class growing up.
So these are really open. I mean,
Yeah.
but how it's split.
Yeah.
With the library,
Yeah, I thought it was for processing or all of that additional stuff. I mean, it's literally just a total cost about all the departments. That makes sense.
So every one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, we were a couple minutes late, so I'm training in Hillsborough. You know why we're here. Can we speak on
That makes sense. That makes sense.
The same for the license.
Janice.
So that means
So you probably know why we're here.
that's
And
really.
so we're obviously a couple minutes late to train Hillsborough about us. Can we speak either before or after we'll jump into the next section?
You know, the one person,
I mean,
like this department has one license because they have one person using it.
It's a big consistency, because I end up putting the roof on my building or not. So it's the
We're just.
word of mouth that we're budgeting and putting on the roof.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, look at my glove.
Oh, no.
Clear, you good? Taking it. Hey, watch out now.
I was gonna ask, I don't have it.
Oh, thank you.
Where's Sinead?
You got your message.
4901.
This one is everything line by line,
Tea,
like
cookies.
each area.
Good, thank you. For Texas, New Mexico. But if they say no, though. I mean, if they do that, do you know when they're gonna do it? Because they're still working on that, right? Because one thing to put out too is like, technically, they turn all the way back there.
Oh, I
To
get
get back there. So, I don't want to sound like, you have some flyer cells to back.
I've had to have them moved actually several times.
So that's, we're gonna talk about that.
Okay. The next house in there? But what I guess, like, I'm from my side, I was like, if that's what I make, great. You know, those roofs, fantastic for everybody. I mean, it's many fails.
Then we, I think it's gonna go. If everybody has to.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, there's no point in doing a survey.
Do you want to say?
I think there's no point in doing a survey, people do surveys. Top three is it, usually.
That's the whole reason I did it.
Exactly, so if you do it.
Yeah. I think the biggest.
So I think my question then is like, I know there's all the top left grant money, it's not coming until 2026 or so, or is that money already in there?
It's already out there, so.
Okay, so another question. It has to be a thing that, on my side, it's something, I'm at the point where I put $700,000 into a new roof. I'm not doing that because I pay bills anyway until I have a guarantee, and I have to make that decision on all of them.
That's why I say with the
So, if not, I might read the
No, I need sweet, I need all
It's a simple one.
Put my finger in it.
Commercial, all the evening, like, all the killing.
Yes, it's fine.
The road's fine.
I think that's a target page.
Our daughter lost her job too, she's 51, 52, something like that, she worked at the same company for, she's right
What's that?
Okay. Recommend.
Come on in.
I'm not gonna have any more snacks.
Huh?
I'm not gonna have any more snacks.
That's what I'm saying, recommend, we're gonna lose control here.
Judge said y'all had enough to eat, come on.
There was a lot of ladies around.
No,
do a lot.
Well, you got the comfy chair. We got you the queen's.
Judge is like, let's get this on, I got to go.
He's got court, he's got fight crime and send bad guys to jail and all that stuff.
I see them once they come to jail.
Judge, we're gonna allow them to speak for 5 minutes real quick since they missed it, and then we'll roll into it. As soon as we get everybody back. You ordered pizza, right?
Sure I did.
Who said you forgot?
Well, we totally didn't think about lunch. We did not.
I forgot about being this long.
I thought about it about 9:50, heading over here.
Oh, no, I know.
I spilled my soda all down in front of me when I was coming over here, so I had to go home and change.
Hey, can I borrow that,
Huh?
can I borrow that lighter today?
It's over at the chamber, yeah.
When I get off work?
Yeah, I'll go over there and put it out for you.
Alright, let's.
Well, they're up there working.
We all back?
I'll put it out. Yeah. Okay, we're back at 11:25. I usually want to stand up and state your name and your address and what you're speaking about.
So my name's Ayushi. I own the 200 North San Jacinto building here in downtown Whitney. Y'all are familiar with it, urgent care amongst other businesses. So as we were talking about the budget, comes as no surprise, I'm gonna bring up my famous road, Trinity, that comes on the back of the building. One of the things I appreciate is that we've done a road survey to at least give us a baseline as to what roads are the best, ones the best worst, so it's no longer just words, but it's actual metrics to evaluate them. Well, unsurprisingly, even more, that road came up as number 2 amongst all of the city of Whitney. My plea to the council, plea to everyone, is that there's no point in us paying so much money as a city to generate a report if we don't use it. Had that road come in as number 22, you could say it's less of an argument's sake. But the fact that that road came in as number 2, whatever we need to do, that road has to be addressed. And like, I'm also going to put a sense of timeline onto this because unfortunately, that building being as old as it is, that roof is starting to fall apart. That for me, to replace my full roof, because I can't patchwork it across the building, it's gonna be a $750,000. I have to put $750,000 at the bare minimum, not knowing once they get under, what's gonna be the state of that roof. That is a very expensive project. I am not going to invest in this building unless there's investment that can come back out of it. That's the entire backside of the building. That's the road that leads up into it. We're losing one tenant at the end of this month because she doesn't feel like she's in a business phase. Nourish and Nipples releases up in September, October. They've already started looking at other properties. So we talk about sales tax, we talk about growing businesses here. That only works if there's room for businesses to come in. That backside of the business is so essential to be able to harbor new investments. It's already built out. So the whole moral of the story is if we can get, I know there's conversation of having Texas, New Mexico to fund it because they're already using half of it. They're going to ultimately be vested into their property. No one gives out donations for free. So if we can get them to cover the entire part of it while they're already back there, great, so be it. Whether that be something they're managing the cost on their own, the city is taking half of it, but however it may be, plan A, if they cover it, great for everybody. Plan B, if they don't cover it, we need to figure out as a decision maker, y'all need to figure out what needs to get done so that that budget is allocated. All the grant money's already been used, but for me, I have my decision to make personally as a business owner within 4 to 6 weeks maximum, whether I'm replacing that roof because of certain deadlines I have to meet. So within that 6-week period, unless I can get a guarantee, I'm taking all my real estate investment dollars, and I promise you, it will not go back here into this building. It will go in a different city. I don't say that as an ultimatum, but I can't throw money into a business that's not going to return it back. So, my ask between this meeting and the next council meeting, which will discuss on to Mexico, is if we can get an answer back that that road will in fact be not only fixed, but fixed within a short-term period, because that allows me to also do my job. It's not a me versus you, it's us working together, but we have to work in synchrony. So, that's all I'm asking for that back training road.
All right, thank you.
Can I have some questions?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right. Good morning, Mayor and Council. Billy, thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity to come in and speak to you about the court's budget. As you know, I'm Trey Jaton. I have the honor of serving as the presiding judge over the city of Whitney and its court. I want to speak to you guys today on the money that the city graciously allocates to the court. That way we can see that fair and impartial justice is served in our city, and that's the key. It's fair and impartial. That is the number one goal of every court, and I think we do a really good job here in Whitney doing that. I would like to point out the court is the third smallest budget in the entire city. I like to keep it small, and we are the smallest budget that pays employees out of it, meaning it has a salary line item to it. I want to keep it small. I don't want to be a burden on the city or the taxpayer. And we have the unique responsibility of not only seeing that justice is served, but sometimes that includes the order of fines being paid, so money coming into the city. And I know a lot of times in the administration level, anywhere where you guys can get money to come in, I understand it. I once sat on that side of it. You're just trying to balance out the budget. But I say this every year, and I like to remind everybody that again, it's fair and impartial justice. So if that means that we're not bringing in money, then it's still fair and impartial justice. We are not a taxing entity on the people that come through our city. So I do like to remind that. So if you do see, hey, you didn't bring in as much money as you did last year on citations, well, that doesn't mean we're not doing our job. If a ticket needs to be dismissed for whatever reason, if the prosecutor works out a plea deal and it's agreeable to the court and it doesn't involve money coming into the city, you know, that's still fair and impartial justice. I'm going to keep this as short as I possibly can. The only thing I'm going to ask for in this budget to change is a certification pay for my clerk. Tessa is an absolute rock star. Ever since she's come over to the court and started working with me, we've been able to implement some new strategies, not only update our forms, but streamline the process of everything to make it easier for people to interact with the court. She's gone out of her way. Now I do require 16 hours of training every single year for my court clerk. I do not require a certification. She has gone above and beyond what I've asked her to do, and she's obtaining her court clerk certification through the TMCEC, which is the Texas Municipal Court Education Center. That is the governing body over all Texas municipal court judges like myself and court clerks. She's gone and taken the test. We're just waiting for the finalized paperwork to come back. But that is the TMCEC putting their stamp of approval on Tessa, saying she has come to us and she has shown that she has exceptional knowledge in certain areas of the court that we tested her on. That again, that's something she did on her own. That's not something I made her do. That is a motivation on her part to provide a better service to the city. And I think it's only fair that the city then compensate her for her studying on her own time at home. It's not something she's doing at work. She has plenty of things to do here. But she's taking it home, she's studying, learning more about her job. And I think, again, it's only fair that we compensate her for all that effort. So that's the only thing I'm going to ask for change, that Tessa be recognized for her above and beyond service to the city, and we fairly compensate her for that. As we go down, that'll cover salaries. As we go down the lines here, I'm going to defer to Billy and the council on the Social Security side, the Texas Workforce Commission. I know those numbers get generated through another office. That's not something we necessarily take care of. So I'm going to defer to your decision on that. Contract services, that's going to cover the city has to hire their own prosecutor. Okay, so they have to represent the state. That's where that money comes from. One way we are saving not contract services, professional services. One way we are saving on that is I was able to get with the OCA, which is the Office of Court Administration, get the court set up with its own official judicial Zoom account, which they're kind of stingy with for some reason, I don't understand. But we were able to get one. Now we were able to hold criminal pretrial hearings remotely. And that's important because, as we all know, lawyers don't get out of bed unless they're getting paid. Okay, it's just the way it is. And if we have to have one drive up from Austin up here to Whitney to hear the 20 cases I have on a pretrial docket, that's quite an expense to drive hours north. So we were able to get that account made. Now he can do it from wherever he is at the time. We don't have to pay that travel expense. It's going to come in cheaper for the city. Training, I asked to stay the same. I'm in a unique position to help the city save money. As the Justice of the Peace, I have a required training I have to do every single year. There's no exceptions to that. I have to get it done. But that comes out of the county budget. Every other year, the TMCEC says if you are in the unique position of being a Justice of the Peace and a municipal court judge, you can substitute every other year your training requirements for the city with your county hours. This year is an off year. I have to do the TMC training and just getting that finished up. But next year, I'll be able to substitute my hours and it won't cost the city anything, and I'll still be in compliance with the state requirements. So I'm not asking that there be any change to the training because we still have to cover TESA every year, and we're trying to supplement as much as we can online. But I have to tell you, from years of experience of being on the bench now, there's no substitute whatsoever of going to a conference and meeting other court clerks, meeting other judges, meeting the instructors and the admin of the training association that we're under, and being able to network like that. That way, when you do have that tricky case come in, that weird off-the-wall city ordinance that everyone forgot about because it hadn't been seen since 1967, you can ask that question. You have people to ask and bounce ideas off of. So I asked no change there. Jury duty fund, that's situational. If we allotted 500. If we have more than one jury trial, I'm gonna have to come and ask you for more money. It's just the way it is. Jury trials, especially now, are expensive with compensation going up to our jurors. It's an expense we have to have. Luckily this year we haven't had to have a jury trial, so we haven't had to spend any money out of it, but that's just keep that in the back of your mind. And then the payable to the state line item. If someone comes in and gets a criminal ticket and they end up paying a fine, that money is all broke down in several different ways. Everybody has their fingers in the pie. Some of it comes to the city, some of it will go to the county for any expense they incurred. A lot of it will go to the state. And so we have to keep up with our own accounting of that, and that money that we have to ship back to Austin, even though the offense happened here in the city limits of Whitney, that's going to be where this line item comes in. That's payable to the state. So that's all the money we have to send out. We have to try to also budget for that. It's very hard, and just to kind of give you an idea of the budgeting difficulties of that, and then also what you're getting out of your municipal court budget is, last year we had 345. I just had the numbers run this morning. Last year we had 345 cases in the court. This year so far, and this is from October to October, so the actual budgetary cycle. This year, and we're not at October yet, is 715. That's a 107% increase in caseload that we're seeing in our court. So it can be difficult. Now, a lot of that's going to have to do with the police department, how proactive our police department is, and the citations that get written there. Also, under the city court, we handle all city ordinance violations. So everything, more or less civilly, that you guys enact that come with a penalty, that comes to us. And so it is very dependent on that. We've seen a massive increase. I know we've had some turnover at the police department. We've hired some new people that I hear are very proactive. That'll account for some of that. But just to show you, it can be difficult to project some of these numbers, and we do the best that we can. Okay. At this time, I'll field any questions that you guys might have.
So my question on the salary, that includes the portion that comes out of Fortessa
Yes.
and yourself
And myself, correct.
at 33,000?
Yeah, half of Tessa's, I asked for that specifically a few years ago, especially when you get into the nitty gritty of the OCA. You want to make sure the court is paying your court clerk. Years ago, believe it or not, the judge's salary came out of the police department. How does that look when the police are paying the judge? So we had that moved over, a whole court budget made and everything. I specifically take a lower salary. I get paid $12,000 a year for what I do here, and so that accounts for everything.
This budget, as it is displayed up here, reflects a 3% cost of living adjustment for the judge as well. So the salary would be $12,360.
But yes, that is an accurate reflection.
Thank you.
We did, as you can see, I inserted the certification pay into this budget yesterday when I was working on it. We inserted an additional $1,040. That's a GL that we're going to have to create, but it is factored into this budget up here. I do need to make an adjustment based off of that number being added to the Social Security, because it will actually raise it to $263. And then everything else remains the same.
What is that for?
What? Certification pay for Tessa?
That's all, okay. I just want to make sure I was on the same page. And that's 3%.
Willie, do you want to move the IT expenses over for?
And we do need to plug that in as well. Where's my big long sheet?
We've got 11,212 on the sheet. Those have not been verified, but
Just out of curiosity, when's the last time Whitney had more than one jury trial in a year?
Not since I've been on the bench. I guarantee you it happened.
Happened when I was a
Ward.
court clerk.
Yeah, because I know I've been called multiple times, but since I've taken the bench here, I haven't had more than one.
They work really hard to keep from having to do the jury trials.
I think we'll probably see an increase in that.
And that's probably, and also that's important. That's why I order every criminal case to go to a pretrial hearing with the prosecutor in an effort to give them the opportunity to talk about it. And a lot of times, if they can hash it out, that's great. That's pretty cost effective to the city. And then the defendant also has a say in what happens, because as I tell every criminal defendant, I say, once it comes to me, I'm sorry, you don't have any more say. It's what myself or a jury decides. And so that usually helps people out. But it does happen. We'll be happy to hold as many jury trials as we need to, but we also try not to bankrupt the city while we do it.
But keep in mind that half of that 11,000, 12,000 is unused, which municipal court is the only use of fund.
We're trying to find a different source, but that's been a point of challenge for us. Will you make a note then that we need to add this 6015 before we import this to Edmonds? Because I had to add that line in here, and I know we can't just.
I guess, thank you.
So.
I don't know that we need anything else.
Any other questions? No? All right, well, thank you for the time. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Have a good day.
You as well. Good luck.
Thank you, bye-bye.
All right, so the only other one that we need to talk about in administration is community development. Why is there not a community development?
They're not much in community development.
Let's
Good luck.
3 months? You just gotta-
Okay, so in community development,
If we can, I have a question. So if we need a suggested and requested a children playing sign,
Streets.
okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure.
All right, so if you go into your expenditure report here, statements of revenue and expenditure, you're gonna see community development on page 6. The only thing that is plugged into this year's budget, and this is gonna be up to you guys to workshop through this right now if you so decide. Only thing we've plugged money in there for is utilities and street lights. We do not have any money budgeted towards downtown events. So, again, this is what this purpose of this meeting is, for you guys to talk through and work through these things. Utilities we've gone up on because we are already at 96% of our budget of last year. And again, take that number, divide by 10, multiply by 12. It comes up to 32,250. This is for all of the downtown street lights and whatever else comes out of that.
Yeah.
That's it?
There's, Reliant is most of it, which is our main provider, but we also have a few that are on the Hillco side, and we do have to pay Hillco for streetlights in the East Lake subdivision, and then we have a lift station that's on Hillco.
Where's that at?
The lift station or the Hillco lights. So the,
Where's that state?
yeah, Joyce Street
Okay,
is where those lights are on Hillco.
gotcha.
So this is street lights in the entire town.
Yep. Well, yeah, streetlights in the entire town.
So not just downtown.
Uh-uh.
Okay, last year we did budget 4,000 for downtown events, but we only utilized $772 of that, which is why I put nothing in this year's budget. If everybody's agreeable with that, we'll continue. All right, so that's gonna, oh, go ahead.
Okay, so we're not gonna use any of the oh no, never mind. That's your mom question in my head.
I hate when that
I
happens.
know, right?
Just stop listening to yourself.
So that brings our total is 32,250 for community development. I did not give you a total for municipal court. Municipal court total came out to $76,459. Okay. Moving on. Police department. Chief Scholes is away at training, so he will not be here to be able to give his breakdown, but he briefed the mayor and I and Christie the other day on everything, and the mayor will fill you in.
Okay. Are we on here anymore? I'm just wondering, we have
That's the salaries for PD.
salaries. Okay. All right, we'll go down on the salaries. Chief Scholes, his annual is $83,504.
That's his current, so the 3%.
Yes, with the 3%, we'll go 86,005.04. Do we do the 5% too?
No,
Okay.
we're just figuring everybody.
So Operation, Sergeant Hathaway, his annual salary is $74,880. 3% raise was $77,126.40. Investigator Holt, our salary is $70,720. 3% raise would be $72,841.60. Officer Brown, his salary is $67,710.55. 3% raise would be $69,741.87. Officer Watson makes $61,152. 3% raise would be $62,986.56. Officer Agpalza, his current salary is $61,152. 3% raise would be $62,986.56. Officer Tillman, he makes $61,713.28. A 3% raise would be $71,804.68. Admin assistant Ariola makes $39,705.12. With a 3% raise, that would bring her to $40,896.27.
All of that combined comes up to salaries of $544,388.98.
That's what I've got to.
Questions, comments?
Questions, comments? The overtime is, the prior year was $9,529.83, budgeted $10,000.
So Chief Scholes said that he identified some areas into which that he was able to reduce that overtime. So that's what he wanted to put into 10,000 there for. He said that he's pretty much eliminated all overtime this year, so that expenditure should not go up anymore.
Yeah. Longevity pay is currently budgeted at $300, and prior was $5,200. You're not making any changes in that?
Says 400 up there.
So we have, there's only, again, you have to be here 2 years, and we had a turnover. So you have to be here 2 years for you to be eligible for longevity pay. So we only have $400 that will be expended for longevity pay this year.
Social Security and Medicare tax, current is $31,851.51. Budgeted $42,757. Am I having the same numbers you have? Do I have the same numbers you have? Okay. And then prior to that was $31,818.37. So we need to raise that.
Trying to do the math real quick. 544,388.98 plus 10,000 plus 400 times 7.65% is $42,441.36, which is exactly what we have up there.
Okay. Texas Workforce Commission, current budget is $746.93, and we have budgeted $4,896.
So we don't have anything plugged in there, Christie. Do we need that?
In the Texas. That's that,
Texas Workforce?
no.
Chief has not put anything in there.
How many employees does he have?
I mean, what?
How many employees does he have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 of them.
But aren't we short one?
I don't think so.
We're full?
I asked him the other day and he said that we were full.
Okay, I thought we were. Okay. Oh, because when we brought that last one on. Over that.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
You wanna,
Workforce Commission is kind of weird. You figure it based off of $36,000 a year, and then you do your whatever. They're all above that, so I guess that's one of the reasons that we didn't have anything budgeted.
gotcha, okay.
I still think something come up though.
That's workman's comp though.
Okay. Expendable supplies.
Oh, Workforce Commission, we do have 1,200 in there,
Okay.
so we're
Okay, all right, good.
the workers' comp all comes out of admin, but
Yes.
that's why there's a zero there.
Gotcha, okay. Supplies, current budget is $1,091.90, budgeted $1,500.
That went up because of the plan that we have for the admin assistant to start helping with the code enforcement side of the house. So she's up there She'll be helping with a lot of the paperwork, so his assumption is that, their paper, office supplies and expendable supplies are gonna go up based off that.
Health insurance, current expenditures is $40,666.26. Budgeted is $60,592.
So again, that went up $850 an employee times. Well, one of them is only part-time, so 850 times 7 times 12, 71,400. I don't know why this doesn't have decimals in it. Must have been the way I imported it.
Highlight and put it in as a,
I'll figure it out
Yeah.
later.
Repairs and maintenance, current expenditures is $55,940, zero budgeted.
yeah, we
We have
did.
zero budgeted this year, because last year we had to budget zero in every department for capital outlay and R&M,
Just a balance.
just to balance the budget.
Contracted services, budgeted current expenditures is $6,331.18. Budgeted $19,484.
Christie, you wanna go into the contracted services?
So when we lost the police department, we were having a contract with the sheriff's department for officers to come over to work the area when we were having gaps in shifts. And at that point, we had to budget for those officers to come in to work. Now that we've got a full staff, that is not needed anymore.
So we went down in that budget from 19,484 down to 15,000. What did Chief tell us the other day that he had factored into that, Mayor? Remember?
Was it, Scott?
No, that's in.
I've got this. I've got this breakdown. So in his contracted services, he's got a data shredding bucket as well that is about $125 a month. They also have the Hill County radio system, but I think we're moving that to
Moving that back.
IT on that one. We have TransUnion Risk Data Solutions. I believe he said something about eliminating TLO on that one. And then Spillman is in here also, and that's gonna
That's
move
moving
to
back to
IT as well.
So really, there's only $1,500
Yeah,
that needs to be in contracted services, it sounds like.
and the fire extinguishers, but that's like $50 for a year. But that, yes.
Stay in the building,
Uh-huh.
or the cars carrying them? Or both,
Probably both. If they give us a good deal, this gentleman that gives us a good deal to come over and inspect everybody.
So we're just gonna put his, data shredding, which I figured you said is how much a month?
125.
125 times 12.
Uh-huh.
That's $1,500, and then $100 for fire extinguishers. That's $1,600.
Yep.
We need to make a note that that's all going to need to be switched over to IT.
Yes.
Utilities, current expenditures are $18,705.70, he's budgeted $18,000.
We went up to 20,000 on that, based off the already being at 140 or 104% of that. Also, the utilities currently had the cell phones in it, so that's going to be moved to ITs as well, IT R&M. So we need to know how much those cell phones are. They in that new sheet?
It's on that sheet.
Okay, hold on a second. We may be able to drop this number down.
So Verizon, this includes the laptops and everything, so ED is $498
a month.
a month. $498.38 a month.
So that we can reduce that by 6,000 right there.
We'll also be able to eliminate the Windstream side of it too, because we switched from Windstream to Hive. And that was another little one. Huh?
Coming back to the
Oh, it's gone away.
We have no already billed for that.
Big sheet.
Is this in the part where we're gonna talk about code plants?
In a second, when we get to that budget.
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
Yeah, just to get.
What do you ask?
She's ready.
Code compliance, ma'am.
Girl, stop. I'm on top of that.
Okay, so, and this one right here, it says 498, so this is per month?
That is per month.
So we need to change that number then.
Sorry, I should have.
498, 38 times 12, so that's $6,000. So are all these Verizons per month? Do I need to multiply that whole
Yes.
line item by 12?
Yes, sir.
We may have to go back and adjust everybody.
That's why there's two of these meetings.
Yes,
Sometimes
Yes.
exactly, it's exactly right. And all of us, because we started.
I'll fix it.
I was gonna ask you, can you get in there and work that real quick, and then we'll go back and adjust as needed? It's a living document, so he can work on it at the same time. Okay, so we're gonna take $6,000 out of utilities of this budget because we're gonna put that into IT. So I'm reducing utilities down from 20,000 to 14,000.
Okay.
Everybody in agreement?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Is he going to do that, or is he just gonna?
So I got it, we're in this
Okay.
working budget, yeah.
All right. Fuel expense, current expenditures of $15,379.05. And we have budgeted 20,000 this year.
So we kept that at 20,000, even if they're at 77%. Chief Scholes believes that that's gonna hit right on. We do expect a fuel price increase and all across the board, so we left that stable, stagnant.
Okay. Auto expense is currently at $7,998.65. And he has budgeted 8,500. I don't know about
So we're at 94% on that already, so it's been raised to 10,000 on the projected, for next year. Let's see what that comes out to be. So if you take what he's spent so far this year, divide it by 10, multiply it by 12, it comes out to 9,598. So that's where the 10,000 came from.
Is that repairs and things on the vehicle?
All the tires, oil changes,
Car wash.
all the auto expenses.
We need to get out there and wash them themselves.
that. But they don't.
It's all about image building though, you know, it's important.
Have the kids do it.
Uniforms, he has, current expenditure is $5,504.45. And he has budgeted 2,500. I guess everybody's uniformed up.
So we had that huge turnover, so that's why your increase is obviously in this year's expenditure a lot more.
Yeah,
But he just kept his budget stagnant at 2,500.
yeah. Hopefully
for
not
next
even
year.
kill. Dues and subscriptions, he had current expenditures of $825, and he has budgeted $1,140. And that's for like chief of police dues and.
Well, also too, there's one item on this list that needs to go to IT repair and maintenance for Collogic top sync.
I think that's already on there. 600.
600.
Okay, so,
I think
And
I put
then-
that in there.
and then he's got a records check due that he pays every year for TransUnion,
Yes.
and that's on there, but it's $225 a year, so.
So do we need to reduce it to 225? Because that's all that's come out this year?
Those are the only two items that I'm showing that came out of dues and subscriptions.
For PD.
So does he pay these things out of his pocket?
I have no idea, because I've not had any invoices submitted to me for any type of membership into anything. And he may not be aware of those items either.
Capital outlay, current expenditures are $59,425.70, and he has budgeted zero.
That's the purchase of the 2 Malibus.
Yes.
There's a item on the revenue side that balances that out. But you'll see in this year's budget, there's zero budgeted for capital outlay again.
Travel expense, he has zero currently and is going to budget 1,000 in. Rentals, he has budgeted $1,236.20 currently. He's gonna budget now $1,485.
So that rentals is the copier?
Yep. That's it.
I was wondering about contracted services, where that copy machine was coming from. Okay. Retirement, budgeted $12,514.34 current. He's going to budget, or he's budgeting $20,680.
So that is going to be going up with the increase, right? So the retirement is figured, again, you take everything added up. So it went to $21,250.
So Billy, that Verizon cost for PD went to $5,981.
Yeah, okay.
Trainings, currently budgeted $269, we're gonna budget $1,000. Loans, budgeted for $43,997.26. He's gonna lower it to the budget for $36,853.
No, that's what was budgeted last year. The budget's going up to $50,191
Where's that?
because
Oh.
the,
How much? 50 what?
5191.
the loans are the Malibus, the Durangos, and then the Explorers. And that should be it.
Yep. That's all that's right here.
All right.
And then payable to state.
He doesn't have anything in that, because it all went to the municipal court.
So that's it as far as that budget goes. Let me make sure the IT number is correct. IT's R&M, we gotta plug some numbers in there. What's that total come back to,
Total of
Alex?
17,967.32.
Okay, so with that, that brings our PD total budget to 813,549.34. All right, now we get into Vicky's favorite topic.
Yeah.
Where do we go?
Code enforcement and
11, that's gonna be page.
animal.
Yeah, it'll start on page 9.
Service. Okay,
Page 9.
I don't know what's happening
Page 11, or 9, I mean.
here. See what I'm talking about?
We can remove the staple if you want.
Thanks, Cheryl. 9.
It starts right there. Is that page 9?
Says it's page 2. See what I'm saying? Where did he go? Yeah.
Or did you tell them the plan?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so the mayor has gotten in contact with a gentleman who has been doing some code enforcement for other municipalities. And what Josh and this gentleman worked out, we had a meeting last week or a week before, I can't remember, is he will come twice a month to the town, do the drive-throughs and inspections, make personal contact with the people who are in violation, have everything reported up to PD. PD will still be in charge of and in control of code enforcement and animal control. This gentleman will just be, he'll come into town, do it, he'll make the personal contacts, he'll do the next escalations through PD, but instead of our patrol officers being out doing code enforcement, that would be this gentleman, what he does. Again, what you see there in contracted services is, I believe Chief Scholes said it's $300 a day, and that's figured at 2 days a month. I think that's what he said.
And what other cities does he currently work with?
That only comes up to
Or do you know?
1,700.
I know.
The mayor's the one that made contact with us.
I hunted him down. He does Mount Calm, Malone, Bynum, Brandon, and us.
And I don't know that he does those anymore, but he has.
He did whenever his name came up on the radar.
Okay, so
He was
my,
doing it.
so my thing is like, right, I'm turned around, but you know where we park over here? All that grass up against, by those, behind the buildings?
Correct.
They're responsible for that, correct?
Correct.
So, are we giving them, have we talked to them and said, hey, you're not keeping this up? Because it has been brought to my attention that we have stuff behind the mustard seed that needs to be picked up.
Well, of course it has.
Yes, yeah. And other places, not just, yeah, and then that whole alley.
So
there.
here's my whole thought on all of this is, our police department is not the grass police. They're not the trash police. They're not the rock police. They're not any of that. And to ask them to enforce that when we have much bigger issues in this town, I felt was a problem. And so when the code enforcement guy's name came up, I hunted him down. I kid you not. I mean, I hunted him down and looked for him high and low. And when I talked to him and told him that we had these problems in town that were under the police department, but I didn't feel like that was really their duty to do.
Yeah.
And so he came over and we met with him, and then he met with Josh, and they came up with a solution on where he stood. Because what we don't want to happen is him to work himself out of a job. We don't want him to come in here and clean our town up, and then we don't have anything for him to do. So these things are going to take steps. There's a process on everything. You know, you have to. You go and you knock on the door, and you know there's that whole process that you got to go through. And so he knows what our pitch points are.
Which are what?
Which are what? Okay, the burned house down here, the house over here on San Jacinto where there's a pile of stuff up, this spot back behind the office, right over here. Those are the main ones that he's gonna be hitting.
What about the one that's got the dogs that's chained up and?
That's on San Jacinto.
That's the one we're talking
And
about.
that's been addressed.
And that's already been addressed.
Being addressed. It's a process.
Yeah, it's all a process, you know, that none of it happens overnight.
Well, I know, but I just, you know.
You know, just like the mustard building, you
If
know,
things-
it's all process, it's all a process.
And I would like to just say, if things came through the proper channels and us being able to track these
Correct.
things correctly, things could get addressed a lot easier.
Facebook is not where
Yeah.
you address it.
I'm
I
sorry,
agree.
it's just easier. The reason that we implemented the process that we have here for code enforcement is so we can track what's going on. If we're not aware of it, it's hard to address it. I mean, I'm sorry. I'll get off the soapbox. I don't want to
San Jacinto has not been, these pinch points has been on my radar.
Well, San Jacinto is on my list of
And
things.
so
for the
those
state.
are things
Right. Yeah,
that I am aware of and I have my eyes on.
yeah.
So,
So,
the mayor has been basically code enforcement and calling the police department, which should not be happening. It should not be happening.
Improving quality in neighborhoods was one of my three, if y'all remember. And I rode with the code enforcement guy as soon as I got elected last year and pointed out these locations that you're referring to. And again, just like you said, that he already was aware of them. There wasn't anything new I pointed out that he hadn't already seen. And all of it's processed, it takes time, interaction and interaction again, and so I understand that it's not handled overnight. On the other hand, it's an eyesore when we have our guests come in to visit and we have to point out these eyesores in our city. So I'm passionate about this with you. I hope we can do something to improve that.
So
trash cans downtown will be a good help.
may I make a statement real quick? There is a fine balance between enforcing codes, private property rights, and what could be considered a taking, okay? People need to educate themselves on that, because we as a government have to follow those very specific steps that are allowed to the government by law, or we find ourselves in a position that we don't want to be in. We do not have the substandard housing, things, because it's a hard thing to come in and say, we're going to tear your house down, because we don't want to do that. That's taking private property, okay? This is always going to be a problem. I've said this at least 10,000 times, that everybody wanted code enforcement until there was code enforcement. And then nobody wanted code enforcement, okay? Yeah, probably what happened with the way it went down and it accelerated at an exponential pace was not the right way to do that.
Right.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
So whenever we started trying to identify a way to have a balance of, can we get somebody in here that has the communication skills to be able to say that?
I did talk to the San Jacinto house. They're ready for help in a dumpster.
Well, that's
Yeah.
been,
It's been an
and I'm
ongoing
just,
thing.
and I'll speak out of turn here. That house has never had she's never been in trouble for a thing.
Right.
And so our goal is to help her with the problem
Right.
to work her
Right.
way out of that. And so that is the process with her.
Yeah.
The house on, now we're turning this into a meeting and I don't like that. But the house on Colorado Street, it's getting them, because they don't live there. But they live somewhere else. So they just basically abandoned their property. So that is a whole different demon on how you address that. So the lady on San Jacinto, she's very nice, very kind. I apologize, I'm sorry, I'll do better. Let's help her get herself out of it. So that's what we chose to do. And that's how I like to operate. If you need help, then we're here to help you.
Well, that is on our list to do on the
Yeah.
6th.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so.
And there is a house, I don't know the streets as well as you all do, but that looks like a year-round garage sale. Pumpkins out in the front yard
Oh, that one,
year-round.
yeah, on Colorado Street, yeah.
Is that Colorado?
Oh,
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Yes,
Please.
yes, ma'am. Thank you for being patient.
So the idea here is, and this is the purpose of these meetings, is to spitball here and to figure out how we want to budget that going forward. If you want to, if the council so desires to replace the code enforcement officer, now's your opportunity to put it in the budget. If you want to put that under the PD's budget, this is what this is for right now. We thought, kind of thinking this is somebody that's not an employee of the city. This is somebody that has the ability to do the talk to the face-to-face and do that. Or we can take it out of the budget and tell the PD to continue to do it. This is your time to decide what you want to do.
So my thing with that, I think that's good, having the thing, they need to do the steps, don't just go and write a letter saying, because when people get a letter, they don't look up to this amount, they just see that $2,000, and that's all they see, and then that's when they get all hysterical. it's talk to them first, then, then we go down the list, but.
So the
That's his
guy,
approach.
so the person that we've talked to bring in is very experienced, very knowledgeable, very hands-on how he handles things. The one we had before had no experience.
Right,
He had
right.
none of that.
He also-
And he had no leadership.
Overstated his authority.
He had no direction.
Right.
He was over here, he was over there, he was over there. Well, there's no way to do your job,
Right.
and you don't even know what you're supposed to be doing, and nobody's guiding you and teaching you.
And that's when we made the decision to move that person to PD, and it got a lot better.
Yeah.
So now, how does that, okay, code enforcement, but how does that handle animal control?
Police department still handles animal
Oh,
control.
okay, I just
So
want to
we
make sure.
have-
But it is aggressive animals only, they're not just going out and picking up cats
Right, right,
and
no,
dogs,
no,
they're
I
not
agree.
doing that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We are not getting calls into this city for
Like we
loose
were.
dogs, it's
Right,
not happening.
Like we have.
So,
I'll go
as
back
far as
to-
we know, the city doesn't know if there's any problems, because we're not getting the
The
calls.
citizens have stepped up and taken care of
Yes.
the problem as it should have been.
Yes.
And now we don't have to budget
Yes.
things that we had to.
So based on
We
this
have
contract-
resources for animal control. I know my sisters donated a whole bunch of stuff. They ordered scales and, chip readers and all this stuff for them. And, so we have stuff, resources, but we don't.
Right. But as far as the contract of that 8,000, that's what this guy would charge us?
Yep.
Okay, I'm good with that.
I'm interested in trying it for a year and seeing
Yeah,
where we go with it.
I mean, that's a
Oh, he
lot.
has probably 6 years worth of work
I,
there.
I'm telling,
Oh, I know, but
Because I
we
mean,
can
that's
revisit
definitely a lot
this.
lower than a paying a full-time employee.
And he's still reporting to the city, so
Right.
it's still
Yes.
up to the city to decide
Yes.
which things we can say, we got this, okay, didn't know about that one.
And that'll happen too, because
Right.
there are things in this town that we don't know about.
this person will still use the chain of command through the police department. It will still make the determination. If citations or whatever has to be escalated, it will still come through the police department. This person's just our person in the field, making contact, making those.
An
and-
objective.
Exactly, and being able to communicate like a human being should be able to
With a
face
little
to
better
face.
training than what we have.
Absolutely. I think that this is the best course of action for the city to try, because if this gentleman's willing to do that for a year for $8,000,
That's pretty cheap.
then I don't think we're going to find a better way to handle it. And in asking the questions, he understands the issues that we've had. Again,
He understands these things.
code
And
enforcement.
this is twice a month that he would be visiting our
Twice a
community.
month.
And that comes in with the process, because you have to, what is it, you make you go by and see it, and then it gives you, I don't know, 14 days or something like that to make your verbal, and then when he comes back the next time, he tells.
Follow up.
Maybe you can show a flow chart.
Well, maybe you
If-
can,
The
I'm
next
sure
one,
that's
if A
something.
then B, this is what happens. If A then B, then this is what
Yeah.
happens.
Well, I think that we have to have a much more reasonable approach than we've had. And again, it goes back to having somebody that has the ability to not be passive aggressive and can actually communicate with people, and then work out that process. So I think this will be good for the city, and I think that a $9,000 budget looks a whole lot more reasonable than a $100,000 budget did last year for animal control.
I agree.
And it's something that I feel like we need to keep all the time, long term, because there's gonna be, that lady on Central City is gonna move out eventually, and somebody else will move in. And, what kind of problem we're gonna have, I mean, it's just gonna be an ongoing issue, I believe, for this town, until everybody gets on the same radar and notice.
Questions, comments, concerns? Is there any IT that needs to go into that, or is that just gonna fall under PD?
I put it under PD.
Okay.
You
Because
tell me
it's
if
still,
you need it,
it's the
that's
same
different.
department, just different.
Right.
geo. I can't imagine him using any IT stuff, because we talked about in our meeting that when he goes out making his reports, he will turn those reports over to the chief of police, and the chief of police will log those into the Spillman, which is the system they use, so that way the patrol officer will also have a log to follow up on to see.
Very good. Very
So, just made reasonable sense for him to go make contact, turn the reports over to PD, and then go from All right, does anybody want to take a recess for a break, or do you want to keep moving?
I'm gonna have to leave, so unfortunately.
You're gonna leave? Oh.
Okay, well, let's take a quick break and
How's that work? You don't have a quorum.
That's what I asked. 'Cause
do
last
we
year when I did
need
leave,
a quorum for a workshop,
I think
since we're not taking action?
I mean, if I need to, I just didn't realize that I thought Valerie was gonna be here, so I didn't think that would affect me. But,
Let's call Jennifer and ask. And
I
then-
mean, if I have to, I can just,
Let's take our break, we'll call
For the-
Jennifer,
for
call
the-
recess, Mayor, and then we'll get the clarification.
recess at what time?
12:24.
I'm gonna stop this and restart anyway, because it's already at like 3 hours.
I do